Wildfires have been raging across Canada, more than has ever been seen before. The smoke has been thick and widespread, affecting large parts of Canada and the US to an unprecedented extent. Is this about climate change, or is something more nefarious going on? To find out, let's start by talking to an environmental science professor. I'm Dr. Dave-EcoLogic, and I'll be your host of this session that will bring together various perspectives on the issue. First, I'll introduce the participants, and then I'll lay out the basic facts. This is a role play, and here are my participants. Forrest Guy, who you've already met, Mr. Arsonist, Trey Hugger, Rich Olagi, John Doe, and Dr. Psych. At the end of this, let me know if you enjoy role plays or if this is just way too silly. Like and subscribe if you find this valuable. Wildfires have become increasingly common in Canada over the past few decades, but in the spring and summer of 2023, the wildfires have been absolutely unprecedented in terms of numbers and in terms of the total area destroyed by the fires. The fires have been bigger, hotter, and sooner, for instance starting in March instead of in May or in June. There have been more smoke and air quality issues choking out Canadian and US cities and billowing across the Atlantic towards Europe. And the fires have been right across the country in Canada, from sea to sea, which is unusual. Plus, there have been an unprecedented number of conspiracy theories. It's important to address these because they're a distraction from what's really happening. There may be a psychological basis to these conspiracy theories, so let's consult a psychologist. Dr. Psych?
Yes, there is a psychological basis to conspiracy theories. People who are neurotic, paranoid, and distrustful of authority are quick to create and believe conspiracy theories. On the other hand, ordinary people who are fearful and just don't understand something may find comfort in an imaginary narrative that makes sense to them on the basis of their beliefs. I have Mr. John Doe in my chair today, and he believes in conspiracy theories about wildfires. Mr. Doe, what do you believe is causing Canadian wildfires?
It's space lasers and eco-terrorists.
Well, we don't have lasers that would fire from satellite height and still be a concentrated enough beam to cause a fire. Plus the Earth is spinning and the satellite's moving. It just wouldn't work. How much do you know about environmental science and climate change?
I know that I don't know, but it's a hoax and a witch hunt.
I'm sure the science seems strange in terms of starting a forest fire. Is this a familiar and comfortable explanation for a fire?
Yeah.
Now keep your eyes closed for the next few minutes. Can you visualize who or what would be starting forest fires?
Maybe a cabal of baby-eating environmental terrorists.
Let's explore that. Are the environmentalists you know about carnivores or vegetarians?
Vegetarians.
So they wouldn't eat babies, would they?
Baby lettuce.
Now with your eyes still closed, visualize what an environmentalist would say about burning forests. I've heard you call them tree huggers.
Hey, John Doe, I would never harm trees. I love them, I plant them, I hug them, and all the little creatures of the forest. I want carbon to be in the trees and in the soil, not in the air. Okay, but someone is starting those fires to make me wear a mask and to make me pay a carbon tax.
No, John, nobody's going to burn their forest down to make you wear a mask. Wearing a mask is your choice if you want to keep harmful smoke particulates out of your lungs.
The carbon tax is a good thing, John. By putting a price on pollution, it encourages cleaner alternatives. It's a polluter-pays system, so it's more than fair. Once we turn the corner on developing cleaner energy alternatives, we'll all be glad we've done it. Okay, but maybe the government is starting fires. I've seen images of helicopters or just guys walking around starting fires.
No, John, those are firefighters like me, carefully starting a backfire in the path of an oncoming wildfire so it will have no fuel left to burn. Let's get the prof to tell us what's really happening.
About 50% of the fires are caused by lightning, and they often happen in places far from people. And that's a clue, because there's nobody around to start those fires and also nobody around to put them out. About 85% of the damage done by forest fires is done by these kind of fires. These fires can be clustered because lightning can strike many places out of a storm. They can be spread over a great area because storms travel. And they can flare up all at once. And this has been a source of conspiracy theories because people think if a whole bunch of fires start at once, somebody must be setting them. It's just that lightning fires do not burn well in a wet forest. They burn well in a forest after it dries up following the rainstorm. About 50% of fires are accidental. and they take place near people. And that's because people have failed to properly put out a campfire, or maybe somebody has dropped a lit cigarette and then walked away. But these fires aren't set on purpose. Arson is very rare, and it tends to be targeted. In other words, somebody has a grudge against a certain church, and so, oops, a forest fire starts right about there. Or there's a murder scene that needs to be covered up, and so a forest fire starts there. Again, arson is very rare, and all suspicious fires are investigated by experts. So, why are wildfires happening more often then? What's happening is that global temperatures have been rising since the 1950s, especially in Canada, which is heating faster than most other places. Warmer forests are drier and burn better. Lightning storms happen more often in a warm world. What we're seeing is the effects of climate change. In these unprecedented times, various people have more at stake. Climate change people are saying, look what's happening. Anti-climate change people are saying, it can't be climate change. Look over here. It must be one of any number of imaginative conspiracy theories. Okay, I can wrap my head around all that. There are other reasons for conspiracy theories besides psychological ones. Number one, they make great clickbait, so internet influencers try to make them go viral. Number two, political ideology. The majority of conspiracy theories are started by far-right groups. That's politics, not science. Number three, the fossil fuel industry is very influential and is strongly opposed to climate change ideas, because those ideas will cut back on their sales and profits. And now let's meet someone who represents that latter viewpoint. Hello, Mr. Rich Oligi. That's oil guy. Yes, my family and I, my company and I, have made our fortune from oil. I'm proud of it. It's an amazing business. You take black goo from the ground and you make it into dozens of fuels and millions of products. And all that money is divided among relatively few people because you need deep pockets. Oil fields, refineries, ships, and pipelines to really cash in. No other energy business is so easy to monopolize. So no, I don't admit to climate change. I want the fossil fuel business to keep swelling my fortunes. My yacht is air-conditioned and my bunker is well-provisioned. I can pay lots of politicians, lobbyists, influencers, and whole media sources to keep spinning hoaxes and debunking climate change. Good luck trying to stop me. So that's where we find ourselves, folks. The fires are increasing, and so are the stakes and the conspiracy theories. We can expect to keep fighting wildfires and breathing smoke because we live in a land of forests. Well, there are some things that can be done. You can find out more about climate change. You can avoid falling for conspiracy theories. You can support the funding to fight fires. Believe it or not, there are governments that have been cutting the funding to fight fires. You can support forest management activities, such as cleaning up extra fuel that's in the forest or creating extra fire breaks. You could become wildfire wise, for example, becoming knowledgeable about fire safety so that you never cause a fire. You could have extra masks and air purifiers on hand in case it becomes too smoky, and you could plan an escape route in case you should suddenly have to evacuate. And we should support climate-related changes. For example, nobody wants a carbon tax, but we should support it as a necessary means to an end. When hybrid cars and electric cars become more available, we should support them too, as a means of decreasing our dependence on fossil fuel and all the carbon that it releases. In wrapping things up, I'd like to thank all my guests for participating today, and I'd like to thank you, my audience, for watching this video. If you found it useful, please like and subscribe, and let me know whether or not you enjoy this kind of role play. If you'd like to know more about climate change, check out this video. If you'd like to know more about 10 steps we should be taking right now, check out this video. The links for both videos are in the information below. If you'd like to know more about environmental science, I have a highly rated course at Udemy called Everyone's World: What You Need to Know About Your Environment. See you next video.